What's up? It's your boy, the Black Andy Cat. We're back for another episode of These Three Things. Subscribe to the channel, ding, like the video, and jump in the comments. Lots of great conversation has been happening over the last 2 weeks about the Gator football program. Love to hear your thoughts, love the discussions, and I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the criticisms too. It only goes to make the podcast better. So what are we talking about today? Today I want to talk about 3 things Gator fans should be taking away from the CFP. Okay, why are we doing this? A lot of you in Gator Nation, a lot of smart people out there, you're business people. You went to business school, a lot of MBAs out there. I've got a buddy, Florida grad. Now he teaches business school. And I was asking him as a business owner, okay, this isn't my day hustle. This is something I do on the side. But I was talking to him about improving my business and how to be a better businessman. He said, hey, case studies. Go look at case studies and let's talk about them. Let's talk about what they did and look at the strengths and look at the good things that they did. Look at the mistakes. Look at failures. Look at business failures and find out what they did wrong so you don't make those same mistakes. And so that's what I'm doing in this video, okay? I'm taking that approach. College football is big business right now anyway, right? I mean, building a college football program is business. It's not that much different from an NFL franchise at this point. So it all makes sense to let's look at the examples that we have in the CFP and what should we be taking away from Gator from the CFP as Gator fans and expectations and demands we should be making from the program. Right? I hear a lot of things in the comments about, oh, we should have hired Lane Kiffin. Why? Because he had a big name. Lane Kiffin had never won a championship, all right? Never won a conference championship. Even at FAU, he didn't win a conference championship, okay? Whereas we got Jon Sumrall has gone, and he's played for the conference championship every year. He's been a head coach, and 4 out of the 5 seasons, he's actually won the conference championship. I don't know. I thought the goal was to win games, okay? Isn't that the goal, to win championship? That's the standard we all talk about. So why not go out and hire a guy who's gone out and won championships over another guy who hasn't won championships and who's created chaos in every organization he's ever coached at. So this is why you got to look at things and think about it. And so have more clarity in what we expect from the program. If we're going to criticize the program, let's have some real reasons to criticize the program. So that's why this video is being made. We're going to look at the CFP. We're going to look at the college football playoff. Look at the teams that were in it because they were obviously more successful than the Gators were. And what can we pull away and what kind of things should we be expecting and should we be demanding from the program, okay? Thing number one, it's not about the big name coach. A G5 coach isn't a bad thing. Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, hey, even the ball coach. Spurrier started at Duke. Okay, Duke wasn't a big program. He went there, found success at Duke, and then brought that success to University of Florida. Same thing with Meyer. Same thing with Coach Signetti. Okay, so it's not about the big name coach. It's not whether or not he was a G5 coach before he came to the Florida Gators or any P4 program. It's about a guy who knows how to coach. It's about a guy who has a system. It's about a guy who knows how to build a program. Okay, it's not about the big name game. So please get out the comments telling me that Jon Sumrall is a bad hire. If you aren't convinced at this point, you're just not paying attention. You got to catch up. Okay, it's not about the name. It's about the ability to build the program. It's about the ability to get the players to believe in your system. It's about your ability to coach them up. Thing number 2. All right, and something else I've been hearing a lot in the portal. Oh, we're being cheap in the portal. Okay, you're being cheap. Indiana wasn't necessarily spending the most money. Miami spent some money in the portal, but a lot of what you saw at Miami was homegrown. You got to remember, it took 4 years for Cristobal to get to this point. Okay, his O-line, a lot of that O-line was recruited out of high school. Their best player, the big lineman, I forgot can't pronounce his name, starts with an M. Florida recruited him hard. He decided to go to University of Miami. He's been there for 5 years. Okay, it's just now coming to fruition. You're not necessarily going to buy your way in the portal with big names to championships. Okay, look at Texas Tech. They spent money like it was going out of style. Texas spent tons of money. We beat Texas, okay? Texas Tech got beaten their first CFP game, right? They won their conference and they were in the CFP. Yeah, they were also in the Big 12, okay? Put Florida in the Big 12, they might have had a chance. Okay, not a lot of competition going on in the Big 12 right now. But point being, it's not about spending tons of money in the portal. It's about getting the right players. It's about building a system, okay? Goes back to thing number one, okay? Where we got to get the right coach who has a system and knows how to build around that program, right? So our thing number two is about not just dumping tons of money. And I talked about this with the Jaden Ball situation. There was no need to back up the truck. I said if he left, he left. I understand what he did, but a lot of that whole hype was about what he did that last game against Florida State. No one questioned whether or not he was a great running back, but a great running back is easier to replace than a great quarterback. It was more important to get Philo, okay? It was more important to go out and get players and a better O-line, which I'm going to get to in a moment. It was better to go out and save Jaden Woods. It was better to go out and keep your key players like VB3 and Dallas Wilson. So how you spend in the portal is about value. It's not just about throwing money and pulling in the big names, okay? The right coach can go out, spend, not necessarily get big names, but get the right people, and you're going to have a winning program. Look at Indiana. Those guys weren't big names. There weren't a lot of 4- and 5-star guys coming out of high school that everybody wanted. In fact, Cignetti pulled a lot of his team from James Madison University. Okay, when you look at that roster isn't full of guys who are going on to the NFL. It's guys who can execute his system, who play good, hard, fundamental football. And so get this notion out of your head, the Gators are being cheap. The Gators are looking for the right value, okay? Finding guys who can actually contribute. Here's another little side note about getting these types of guys. Because these guys aren't 4- and 5-stars, they're not putting in their 3 years and immediately running off to the NFL. You got a lot of these, look at that average age on that Indiana roster. Those guys are older. They're experienced. Experience counts for something. These guys come with maturity and they're able to handle situations. They're coachable. They're willing to be coached because they're not superstars. They know they have shortcomings. They're looking for somebody to believe in them and to teach them how to be better football players. Those are the kind of guys you want because they're going to be there for you and they believe in the program. Thing number three, kind of touching on our big names, okay? It's not about the big names. It's not about the big name quarterback. It's not about the big name receivers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe because you know what I'm about to say. It's about the trenches. You got to win up front. O-line, D-line. That's what this is about, okay? I don't care how many great 5-star receivers you have. If you don't give your quarterback time, none of that makes sense. None of that matters. How do we know this? Look at last night's championship game. Mendoza, Heisman winning quarterback, great quarterback. Didn't look great last night. Why? Because Miami's defensive line, trenches defensive line was so tough, gave him almost no time to throw the ball. Now, Mendoza, being a great player, he found a way. Cignetti and the coaching staff, being a great staff, found ways to get off of just enough plays to win the game, made a great gutsy call. Again, coaching. I don't know if anyone listened to that interview about that 4th and 5 quarterback draw down at the goal line. But he said, hey, we looked at the film. We saw what they did on that play. We saw how they set up. We knew we could get that quarterback draw to work if they lined up the right way. They did, and it worked. Got a touchdown out of it. All he wanted was the first down. He got a touchdown out of it. Coaching, O-line, D-line, it's the trenches, okay? So that's thing number 3. It's about the trenches. You look at what Jon Sumrall's done. He went out and he looked at the trenches. He went out, first off, back to number 1, the right coach, putting together the right team, went out and got Troutwine, right? Now you've got one of the best O-line coaches who can attract big-name talent. Brought in 2 big-time offensive linemen from Penn State, brought in 2 offensive linemen from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech guys know your system. You've got a much better O-line than the Gators potentially have had in years. Defensive line went out, fought to get Jaden Woods back to stay out of the portal. Huge, huge retention factor. People complain about we didn't go get big names. Yeah, but you went out and you got the big name that was already on your roster, and you got that player to stay here at one of the most important positions on the team, on the D-line. Okay, so this is going to be won and lost in the trenches. Look at the Gators the past 14 years. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle in the O-line. The offenses look terrible. That's why. You can't do anything unless you start it all up front. Defensive line, that was a problem for the Gators this season. At key points in games, we couldn't get the stops that they needed to win some of the close games. So it's about the trenches. Look at what Jon Sumrall's done. He's focused on the trenches and he's getting that done. So those are my 3 takeaways for Gator fans from the CFP. That's how we should be judging this program. That's how we should be judging Jon Sumrall coming next season, right? Can't expect him to necessarily win a natty next season, but we need to be looking at these issues and saying, hey, is he coaching this team up? Okay, does he have the right people out there? And what do our O-line and D-line look like? Is it improved? If not, start complaining. If those things are starting to fall in place, let's keep supporting the program. All right, so this is your boy, Black Andy Cap. Remember, subscribe to the channel, ding, like the video, and get in the comments and tell me how you feel. We'll see you next time. Peace.